All right, what's up, y'all? 28th of April, 2025. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company and all four sides. Here's a guitar and a little bit of fun. Okay, I can play guitar. Y'all got a question about it? I don't care, but I do like to play. That's my mom's guitar, though. I am Evan Strong, as I said, and I do crazy things with nylon strings. Somewhere around a half-size guitar is the ideal, so this guitar actually is currently keyboard on the 5th fret, which makes it a lot closer to a half-size guitar lengthwise. Now, I play radiuses, okay? A radius in the hand because there's a radius in the hand. The human hand's are round, as I say, right? So, yes, this is In The Image Clothing Company Podcast. This is a big one. This is episode 114 of In The Image Clothing Company Podcast. I'm really glad that I played all that I just did there because I'm not trying to prove anything, but I've said so many times that I'm an amazing guitarist. And boy, is that a bold, self-proclaimed thing. But I mean it. I feel music. I play music well. But there's times and places for things. And in this time, the place that I'm currently living is changing. I have to move. Rightfully so. I've been here 3 years, and it's time for me to go. The people who own the place that I am currently living at and have been for 3 years, they said it's time for me to go. And I get it. I agree. I understand. Okay. And this episode is actually titled Something That Hit Me Today. And I'll get into the intro and I'll talk about each of the four sides to In The Image Clothing Company as a whole. I'll talk about where clothing sits because that's how we do our whole key phrase, right? Keyword allowing the human body to work. And then I'll get into really the bulk of this discussion. But what I'm saying about what the title is, I've been saying since the founding of In The Image Clothing Company, don't believe me, it's not about me. I try to leave myself out of things because, right, it's not. But today I was making a video trying to, outside on a soccer field. Many videos under In The Image Clothing Company as of today's date have been filmed in that same location on that same soccer goal post as a tripod. Yeah, right now I'm using a army sleeping pad as a tripod, and it's rolled up, and in the top of it are my sewing scissors. But they're my sewing scissors, sure, really they're fishing scissors that I use for altering clothing. Okay, when I say the phrase as real as it gets, dude, it's as real as it gets, dude. And today I was realizing I'm trying in ways to separate myself from In The Image Clothing Company, and I got stopped. Words just weren't coming out of my mouth when I was trying to film this video today. I've been talking about, since I announced, how I will be breeding purebred standard poodles. There's a video under one of our fourths, which I'll talk about that side, but In The Image Clothing Company dogs, titled When the Standard Poodle Puppies Come, ... And I gave explanations on how, yes, you, whoever you are, if you do want a standard poodle puppy, it could come from one of our litters, but there's a lot of conditions on who the puppy will go to, any of them, because it's similar to adopting a child. This is a 15-year commitment, and I went into it about a half hour in length. Is that video you can go find to kind of cover myself as far as I've laid a precursor to what it will be like, so people don't think I'm being prejudiced against saying no if we do to whoever it is that asks for a puppy. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a family member, okay? And we're going to do all that we can to have our dogs go to homes that they will be at for their entire life, okay? Not be tossed around from shelter to new home and switching owners. No, okay? We're doing it proper. Registered dogs, yes, right? Keeping the breed standard as far as what it means for a poodle to be a poodle and the standard size, right? We're going to do it very proper. Since I announced that, I've been trying to separate myself and breeding standard poodles just as me. I've been trying to separate that from In The Image Clothing Company dogs. And I haven't worded anything in any way that I need to like delete or take back or anything, but as far as the way that I personally had the intention, I would word it like that. I personally, Evan Strong, will be breeding purebred standard poodles, and we have that being shown if and where on In The Image Clothing Company dogs. That's how I've been wording it. And today I got just stopped by God. And I got told this. And this is the title of this episode 114 of In The Image Clothing Company Podcast. 114. Okay, we've got a lot of episodes here. Everything's just what it is. And I got told In The Image Clothing Company and Evan Strong are one. So that's the title of this episode. And I'll get into it because I'm new to all this and I just don't want to make anything about me, but that's not what I'm doing by me and the company being one. I'll explain it and I'll get into it, but first I'll talk about each of the four sides of the company. So this is In The Image Clothing Company Podcast. We have discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ, aka the truth of all things. I'm not religious, but I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I don't believe in anything, but I have faith in God. So we talk about things as they are. We're all human beings placed onto the same earth. As I've been saying so much recently, the human being placed on earth is aka a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space. So because of that, our main side of In The Image Clothing Company, where it all started, and still our main side, is the phrase I said a few minutes ago, keyword allowing the human body to work. We can never get a mechanical machine to do anything other than what it's designed to do. God, Jesus the Christ, designed our bodies in his image, hence the company name. 5 words as a whole, In The Image Clothing Company. So I know the body, I know it in depth, I know it undisputed, I know that man, woman, tall or short, skinny or fat, any age, any part of the earth, any time period to ever be, the human body being just a body of flesh and bone placed onto an earth with gravity, one of the universal laws, God's law, one of them, it has a center line, a sternum, a spine, a trachea, a nose, and the jaw naturally stabilizing the entire body. These things have to stay in the center, feet opposing the center on either side, gripping arches inward that allows our bodies to just stay vertical and operate, okay? We place clothing onto us, and if it's imbalanced in any way, the body is as well. All we're doing is holding our clothing off the ground the entirety of the time it's on us, everything from the tops of our feet up. So from the pant cuffs up. It's not being rested onto the earth, and so we're holding it up with our bodies. So it's altering the body. If it's not very, 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 very intentional. In the Image Clothing Company clothing, which we will have available, will be made out of 100% natural materials, as the human body is. It will stay centered, fit correct, and that's how we do our slogan for this side of the company, the main side of In the Image Clothing Company: allow, keyword, the human body to work. There's never any way you could train something to do anything when every joint just has a neutral. There's no training to happen or that could even be done. It's just a machine. It's just a machine. Levers, hinges, rotations, it's just a operable thing that we've been given. It's our gift. It's the only thing we're promised by God. It's the human body. Okay. I just want to hit it so hard, man. I do, and I get so bold. When I talk about In the Image Clothing Company podcast, on the other sides of the company, I say, check it out. It's a great place. I get bold and blunt and raw and real, and right, because I do, and I'm aware, and I've said that, but I'm totally aware how blunt and like aggressive I get with what I'm saying. I do, because it's just truth. So, In the Image Clothing Company music, another fourth of our company, where I show, which, gosh, this is such a beautiful episode for me to play as much guitar as I did within the intro. I show sizings and setups of guitar. The hands are what we use to play guitars. Our hands are essentially our shoulders, as the feet are essentially the hips. The human body can only ever work as an entirety. Anywhere that any of it goes, the rest of it comes with as well. It's just all one. So, like I said, ideal, and what I play, I guess, is how I'm going to word it for right now without, giving all the context that I do. What I play is half-sized guitars, somewhere around that size, travel size, right? Slightly smaller than 3/4 size, with a rounding to it, because the hands are round, and nylon strings, okay? So, this guitar that I just played, for those of you in audio only, it's full-sized and it's steel string. It's not the ideal for really anybody, honestly. It's my mother's guitar. I'm grateful to be able to play it for right now while I don't have my own. But it's not the ideal for the sake of the human body. Those two tiny little strings, the highest two, the B string and the high E string on steel string guitars, they are tiny. And the human hand needs some substantial something to grip. So, In the Image Clothing Company, dogs. The last fourth in order of what I've said here, and our newest fourth. The one that I'm the most convicted about. We address, and have addressed. Oh my gosh. I cannot explain the amount of just sheer prompting I have to just push and push and push In the Image Clothing Company dogs, and me breeding purebred standard poodles. I cannot express to you how strongly I've been just hit with push this, push it, push it, push it, push it. So I am okay? Unnatural materials in dog accessories nowadays, as in human being clothing, that didn't even exist just decades back from today's date. They're man-made, they're new, they're synthetic, they're artificial, they're pumped from the earth, made from oil, and our dogs chew on them. They go onto our dogs, collars and leashes and harnesses. Yeah, so much unnatural. And the whole slogan for that fourth of the company, In the Image Clothing Company Dogs, is letting dogs stay natural. They're just an animal on the earth, and we can't be altering them without damage happening to them. So we will have collars and leashes available under In the Image Clothing Company with the same intent behind human being clothing. Minimal, light, quiet. Dog collars sometimes are quite loud. On In the Image Clothing Company Dogs, I placed a video titled Keeping Dog Collars Quiet. It's distracting for the dog with all that noise right next to its head. Yeah. Dehydrated dog kibble is so unnatural. To extract water from what we feed our animals. Imagine just eating dry crackers always and then drinking some water afterward, right? There's more nutritional value than just what is in crackers generally when it comes to kibble, but it's unnatural to dehydrate things. So there's the four sides of our company. Yeah. So purebred, registered, standard poodle puppies to come. Not just like a litter and it's like, yeah, it'll be fun, I'll talk about it. Like, no, I mean, we're going to have a whole breeding program. It's going to be a very properly done thing. It's going to be huge. I'm not trying to claim something. Don't believe it, right? How many times? It doesn't matter. I said it a lot. Don't believe me. Truth is truth, man. And I'm just talking about things as they are. So, because of the reason that the human body just has its operations, there's no way you could ever stretch something that just has motion, that it is given. It just has the motion unless it's restricted. No stretching, no warming up, no working out, no too good to be trues. Don't believe me, but try it. Clothing for everybody has to sit in the same location. Pants have to be entirely above the hips, slightly higher in the front than the rear, so that our pelvis is unaltered and our core muscles can stay how they would always and only ever could work, activated, okay? Tops that we wear have seams on top of our shoulders, and they need to sit evenly behind the peak of our shoulders. Our shoulders only ever work behind our head mechanically. That's the only way you could ever do it. There's no opinion that could possibly even be had. The edge seams of our shoulders need to be right at the very edges because that's where the functionality of the shoulder joint is. Two things we have under In the Image Clothing Company as prerequisites. Conditional, there's not always ropes that we call shoelaces that we weave into things we call shoes. But when there is, our first prerequisite is In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique. The only way you can weave a rope across the top of the mechanics of the human foot without altering it. There's only one way, it's shaped. With that, we tie our shoes evenly over toward the center line of the human being because there is one. Do that on both feet, exactly opposing the center. In the Image Clothing Company's shoelacing technique, as I said, found wherever you find us, 5 words as a whole, In the Image Clothing Company. I've said that a few times in the past few days. Closing. And I'm wondering if I need to say something about that or expound on closing. I think the big thing is our feet close. Every muscle within the body can only contract, meaning get shorter. Stretch, that is nowadays within clothing, which can almost only ever happen if you're using unnatural materials. Stretch goes the opposite direction of the only way that muscles could ever work, which is getting shorter. So the feet, they grip inward, arches. And then you have that neutral lower leg straight from the knee to the base of the heel. There's that outward curvature, okay? Straight out from the pinky toe forward is the neutral foot. You can never have stretch within shoelaces because your body's foundation needs something stable. And stretch is not. Secondly, to shoelacing, our other prerequisite under In the Image Clothing Company is to remove all tags from clothing. They're only decades old as of today's date as well. They're causing a physical gap, changing the body's skeletal system's only working position, and or just not allowing musculature to activate, then the body is trying to compensate. Included within the tongues of the shoes, or anywhere within shoes at all, okay? Remove all tags. You have to. Don't let me tell you what to do. Don't believe me, but it's doing what it's doing to every human being to ever live. That's why I get so bold. There is no opinion to these things. So, what I was realizing today by being just prompted, told by God, the title of this episode, 114 of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. 1/4 of our company as a whole. The title is In the Image Clothing Company and Evan Strong are one. I've never done this. I've never ran a company. I've never founded a company until this. In the Image Clothing Company. I say the company name so often because it's about remembering the name so that you can get to all that we do under knowing one 5-word name. In the Image Clothing Company. We do a lot here. And it's kind of on a back end because I've been prideful about trying to take myself out of it more than I need to. I am the founder. I am the one that has made every single piece of content as of today's date, the 29th of April, 2025, for In the Image Clothing Company. And that's just how it's going to be. There's just been this thing I've seen before. People have founded companies, and sometimes it's even at the beginning, their intent is to then give it to somebody else, as far as sell it with a contract where they will get profit and revenue from what the company is doing, but then they don't have to be involved with it. And that is not what this is. In the Image Clothing Company is Evan Strong's documentation of life. But it's not about me, and that's why it's hard, because I don't want to feel prideful. I know that I'm very prideful, but I don't want to make it in any way be like I'm the only one that could deliver this information, because I couldn't take a single ounce of credit for allowing the human body to work. I didn't design it. God designed it. And so it puts me in this bind, and it doesn't have to, and it doesn't need to. And going forth, I'm going to do all that I can to just rid this belief. But it has been putting me in this bind that I've really created for myself of, I don't want it to be about me at all. I don't like the attention. I don't even talk to people, as I've mentioned. And if you know me in my personal life, you just know. I love solitude and being alone. I don't like small talk, and I rarely even get in conversations with people, man. I don't care. So I don't want it to be about me, because I don't want it to be like as big as In the Image Clothing Company does get, because it will get huge. And do not believe me, but it will. I never want it to be about me, but I don't want to be trying to forcefully take myself out of it, because that makes it unnatural. This is my lifelong thing. And that's something that's been hard for me to accept. Growing up, believing I never could do anything, or could be worth anything, or could accomplish anything, or could stick to anything because of what I was told by my dad. I've had this whole approach to this, like, yeah, one day, man, it'll probably just get too much for me, and I'll just sell the company to somebody else. And so I've been wording things in ways where I've been forcefully, in a very unnatural way, trying to take myself out of things when it doesn't need to be even said. So, like I was saying, when I launched In the Image Clothing Company Dogs, it was just a couple weeks ago, give or take, within a week or two ago, probably, from now, when I'm speaking, the 29th of April, 2025, and everything that I do, unless, a few things here and there, everything, I say the date in it. Audibly, verbally, I speak what date it is that I'm filming the videos. So that's what I'm saying. It's Evan Strong's documentation of life. That's really what In The Image Clothing Company is. So with my wife, when and if, with my kids, when and if, with all the dogs that will, for sure, be in my life, that's what this is. And I've said that since the founding, that it's a familial place. It's a community, not some company. This is not some big corporation, regardless of how large it does get. This is just real, authentic. I'm sitting here on the floor when I film In The Image Clothing Company podcast episodes. I don't have special mics when I film In The Image Clothing Company main site videos outside. It's just real. And if it does get more professional as far as the delivery of things as we go, then okay. But I'm still who I am, and In The Image Clothing Company and Evan Strong are and always will, as long as I am alive on this earth, be one. And I'm the one that needs to hear this. What this is like a declaration to myself, and almost like a surrender and apology to God. Because I've been approaching it in a way where maybe one day I could take myself out of this entirely and maybe still just profit from it in ways to help sustain my life. But that is not what this is. And that's me being disobedient to God and trying to find a way out and trying to, yeah. Because my family, man, there's this song from, there's this lyric from a song, and I don't need to reference who it is just from this one little lyric. I like to give credit where I can and know how to, but there was a phrase in a song I heard one time, and it said, "I fight to live a private life for my family's health." And that lyric hit me at that time, and it hit me in a way that I didn't even understand fully because I didn't agree with it. And now I get it. The whole thing within the Image Clothing Company is it's not about me. Like I said, and it is just the case, and never could it change, I couldn't take credit for it. All I do here is give information that everybody could know, that I couldn't own. It's about God's design of the human being. The goal is natural under all four sides of In The Image Clothing Company. And so it's not about me, and making everything that I possibly can, including every mistake and sin that I will continue to make, public, that's actually what's going to help people the most. And that's actually what's going to help myself the most, and even my own family. The dogs. Everything that's hid will come to the light. Eventually, right? That scripture, and then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Right? The whole thing is, it's a transparency that gets us to God. There's this idea that I've had for so many years, and especially being so manipulated by my dad. I always thought, what if every second of my life was filmed on video and audio recorded, so I could never say anything that didn't match up with what happened? That's the ideal for all of us, and guess what? God is the all-searching eye. He sees all, and God is our witness. God is above all, and God is actually in charge, by the way, and we are not. So that's why that lyric hit me so much back when I was, however old I was, a few years ago, 4 or 5, give or take, maybe even into my teenage years, because I'm 25 currently. I heard that song, and I fight to live a private life for my family's health. It didn't resonate with me. Because that word private is how I grew up. With my dad doing everything behind closed doors, pretending that things happened that didn't, and pretending that things didn't happen that he did and he would never own up to and would manipulate his way out of. So I want this public, whether I do something terribly wrong and get absolutely convicted, not convicted out of conviction from God, but like legally convicted behind bars, right? Put the cuffs on, officer, because if I did it, I did it. The phrase that I keep saying, condemn me for what I have said, because I can't take it back, you can't change it, and then you're only judging at that point. Truth is truth. And so making everything public is actually how everything is going to work the best for everybody, every human to ever live, and God already sees it all. It's not like we're hiding anything from anyone besides ourselves. Okay? So, In the Image Clothing Company and Evan Strong are one, episode 114 of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. Like I'm saying, I am probably the one more than anybody else that needs to hear this. And it's just the case. It's in one of the numbered episodes of In the Image Clothing Company podcast that will never change, never be deleted, never get changed. I've said it twice and I'll say it a third. It will never change. Because of that whole phrase, condemn me for what I have said. I can't change it anyway. So talk about it all you want. Sit there and gossip all you want, you sinner. Gossiping about how I sinned is you then sinning, because we're not supposed to gossip or talk behind each other's back. We're never going to be perfect in this life, and so I'll make my sins public while you pretend you didn't do yours. Right? This is what I mean. This is actually what's going to keep my family safe. I'm still and always going to word it as I'm the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. When people ask me, going forth what I do, I'm not going to phrase it any other way, even if we've definitely had the founding. I mean, we've got the founding. We are well past anything you could call a founding at this point of what In the Image Clothing Company is. 40 years down the road, if somebody asks me what I do, I'm still going to say I'm the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. No other title that I will need to be placing and putting in whatever, because it kind of keeps me in my place in a sense, like at the beginning of things still, right? Even like at the end of my life. See what I mean? So yeah, man. That's just how it is. Not that anyone was questioning, but I was. And I have been. I've been so confused and wondering how it's all going to work because I've never run a company. But now I have founded one. Do you see what I mean by the phrasing? I will always be the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. And I will always have it the entirety of my time on this earth. And my kids' kids and my grandkids, they can watch these videos. They can listen to In the Image Clothing Company podcast in audio only if they aren't watching it in video plus audio, because it's available in both forms. They can see all the stuff that we've talked about and it'll apply to them as well, because it's founded on what's in the first 3 words of our 5-word company name as a whole. In the image of Jesus Christ. That's the only way you can allow the human body to work. That's the only way you can let dogs stay natural. That's the only way you can have the goal be natural. It has to be outside of ourselves, or else there's no such thing as In the Image Clothing Company. What has been founded on is stuff that I couldn't have decided. I could never be in charge of. So, I got to get over myself a little bit, and I did today. with a lot of help. And I needed to be shown. Yeah. Leave me alone. I say that, I've said it so often. Just please leave me alone. It's, I'm just who I am. And that's what I mean. And that's why I've been trying to separate myself from the company while still making it clear that I'm the founder and I'm the one that's doing what this company is as far as making it what it is. I don't want the recognition. I don't want to get into conversations and have people be impressed by me. I don't want credit because it's not my credit to get because of what I was just saying. So please leave me alone. But let's also build a beautiful, big community and family with this thing. I don't want to impress anybody. I don't want people to look up to me for me. There's ways you could be looking up to what I'm doing and what kind of life I'm living and how I live the gospel, if I'm doing that in good ways and times, right? In those ways, I get it, yeah. And that's why I say things as they are. I am doing this out of example. I'm speaking out of example. I'm practicing what I preach. Really, I'm preaching what I have practiced. As I say, it's on the back end, right? I am being who and what I need to do this. And the way that I'm doing that is getting rid of everything and surrendering to God. So anything that you could be impressed of by me, if anything, is just my willingness to serve God. And sometimes I'm directly going in the opposite direction and being, rebellious and defiant to what God is asking. But that's why these things are testimony builders. That's why I'm sharing all of my sins and not just the highlights. Because transparency, because the phrase, it's as real as it gets, that we say often here. Okay, so In the Image Clothing Company and Evan Strong are one. I play guitar and I do it well. I don't say that to boast, but I know who I am because I know God. And I know how good I am at guitar. I laugh through it because it's just the case. It doesn't need to be an impressive thing, and I don't want people to be impressed by that either. Because when I'm playing a properly set up guitar, and when it's time for me to play guitar, because in some moments of life, things just don't quite work because you're not really supposed to be doing them right then. But when things are lined up, I can play guitar well. That's why there's an entire fourth of this company, In the Image Clothing Company, titled In the Image Clothing Company Music. I can make just one single video showing the entire earth, if they could come in contact with it, how to string and set up guitars to not alter the human being. But there's an entire fourth of the company because I'm also a really good guitarist. But you don't gotta care, you don't gotta believe it. It's not about me, but, it's... there's going to be good music coming from what I do. If you'd like to listen to it, if you're into what I do, then cool. If not, then you don't have to be, right? So, yeah. In the Image Clothing Company and Evan Strong are one. Period and done for the entirety of the life of Evan Strong on this earth in the form that I'm currently in this probationary state before I meet God at his feet again. I mean, it's as real as it gets. I'm not trying to make something out of any of this. So I'm going to be moving very soon. I'm not making a claim because I've been asked to leave. Rightfully so. Okay? Because of just the situation of all this has been, and it's just time. I'll get a guitar that's proper for me. Somewhere around half size, a radius in it, nylon strings. And I'll shred, dude. You don't gotta be impressed. I just mean it. I will have standard poodles, and we'll have a whole thing. I don't know how many people really know much at all about dog breeders or what it looks like to breed dogs, but we're gonna have a really actual, I'm gonna say the word big, okay? Yikes. And proper breeding program for purebred standard poodles. Proper registered dogs, okay? I'm not making claims. I'm not trying to hope for anything. I say that I don't hope for things. I don't. I don't care if it doesn't even happen. But I know that I'm being prompted to do these things and they're just happening as I do them. I'm so grateful to live in the state of Utah, the United States of America. I'm so grateful to have been baptized a second time around. So grateful to be able to be lost so that I can be found by God. And I'm grateful for how rough my childhood was, because now I have the ability to just speak such deep episodes of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. Hear my jaw pop? I'm grateful for that. I've had multiple releases in my jaw today. And it's not just like popping your neck and then you have to do it again and do it again and do it again because your body's just out of its only workings. It's because my body's back to its only workings. Still some very slight patternings I'm dealing with and working through, and scar tissue that I'm releasing. But when the jaw does pop like that, a lot of it's just the cartilage within the ears that's breaking up. And things are rapidly happening. Ramping up quicker and quicker in my personal life. And as I'm saying, as I got told very clear today, In the Image Clothing Company and Evan Strong are one. And you can see it. I can't make some claim about something if it's not true. I can say whatever I want, but it doesn't even matter if it's not true. There's only truth. Look at what In the Image Clothing Company is. I told you. And it's just the case. I say the date verbally in just about everything we do under In the Image Clothing Company. Sometimes In the Image Clothing Company music, not so much. Because if I just post like a snippet or a clip of playing guitar or a freestyle that I do, then there's not always me verbally saying the dates in those, right? But just about everything that we do here, I verbally say the date. So you can see how quickly things have been happening and how much quicker things are happening as things are quickening up until me saying this right now, okay, the 29th of April, 2025. So, there you go. I'll give a little bit of context on my personal life at this current time. I have zero money, literally not a single dollar. I've been living in a place rent-free for 3 years, and boy, have I had grace been given to me by the owners of this place that I've been living at. My grandparents, my mom's parents, okay? I've been living with my mom here as well, and she's been good with me, man, because sometimes I'm a lot to handle. I've been asked to move, and it's out of love, and it's the right thing for all of people that would be involved with that happening. There's a lot that's changing in a lot of ways right now. I don't have my own vehicle. I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't have a job, meaning any way that is providing monetary value, currency, something we could call income for me to trade for other things, right? I mean, see what I mean? Like, it's just what it is. I don't know what's going to happen though, okay? As far as specifics of how things are going to play out to get me to where I need to be. But what I do know is that I got so convicted today by God to make this episode and title it what it is. Because I've been approaching it slightly separation-wise. And it's like I'm almost nervously expecting there to be some kind of way out one day. And that's not what's supposed to happen. This is my company for life. And it's not about me, but it's like it is me. I don't need anything to feel like I'm something. I'm a son of God. You don't have to believe nothing. I'm not trying to proclaim something. We're all sons and daughters of God. He created us. He created this earth and everything on it, all the inhabitants. Read the first book of the Bible if you'd like to. Genesis. It lays it out. You don't have to believe it because it's in some book that maybe somebody wrote or whatever you think about it. We talk about the gospel, and I just talk about it so deep. So I'm not trying to assign myself to this company, and that's why see, yeah, that's why my name comes secondary. In the Image Clothing Company and Evan Strong are one, because it's not about me. It's, yeah, but it's something that I'm all in. I'm going to say this. I'm prompted to, and I was walking earlier and I got told to say this by God. I got given a blessing when I was 18 years old. And in this blessing, I was told to pick my career and give my all to it. Learn the ins and outs of it and give everything that I have to it. And that was 7 years ago. Since then, I've had, a lot happen in my life, and I never expected this to be what I would do, because I never even could have thought this up. It's a pretty specific thing. What we are as In The Image Clothing Company in all four sides. I mean, even just the way that it's laid out. It's titled a clothing company, but there's music, a podcast on the gospel of Jesus Christ, purebred standard poodles being bred, a whole fourth of the company about dog life, really? I mean, is how we could word it. But I got told by God through that blessing to just give my all to it. Learn the ins and outs just so thoroughly, because I'm so smart. I'm not trying to be prideful. I'm so smart. Some people are very, very smart. Some people are very, very funny. Some people are very, very caring. Some people, we have our strengths. I'm a very intellectual human being. I'm quick. I've got a wit, right? I'm not talking myself up. I'm just saying I'm very smart. Don't care, right? Don't agree. Don't believe it, whatever. But when I learn about things, I learn about them so deep. I mean, just listen to things before today's date, so I'm not just claiming something, right? Under In The Image Clothing Company, just how thoroughly I discuss and describe things. That's what God was saying, is learn all of it. Dive as deep as you can dive with your brain you've been given. Because, yeah, I'm really smart. I'm not being prideful about that. I'm prideful where I'm prideful, but that's not a prideful statement. It's just the case. And I know this stuff so deeply, and I've only been doing this for 8 months. So now I know what it means. Because when we talk about prophecies being fulfilled, there's like grand earth-wide prophecies, right? Like the second coming of God. But then there's prophecies in our individual lives like this. Like my blessing I was given at 18 years old. It's not some kind of joke. It's now fulfilled. The career I was supposed to choose in the Image Clothing Company. all four sides of it as a whole, my lifelong assignment. So that's what I mean when I was saying that I've been being disobedient by trying to find a way out of it. Because I'm just some kid, and I do not want the recognition. I don't want to win. I don't want to be idolized. And I'm doing things here that will change every human being's life on the face of the earth. And so that's why I've been trying out of my own doings to make it be a separation. And God says, no. Tie yourself to it. Okay. Episode 114. Numbered. Documented. In the Image Clothing Company podcast. In the Image Clothing Company and Evan Strong are one. So, there you go. You don't got to care about nothing here. But whether I care about it or not, it's what I'm supposed to do, so I'm going to keep doing it. And whether you care about it or not, it applies to you. Truth is truth. Sometimes I'm wrong on what I say. I'm just as human as everybody else. But I understand the stuff that I talk about here more than anybody else. Because I've been given it by God. Never will it change. Where clothing sits, how to lace shoes, how to string guitars, what things are natural, right? Stuff I didn't decide, it's never going to change. But I understand it because I've been given this very intellectual, inquisitive mind. It's not about me, dude, but I'm putting in work. Even all the stuff I've been through, right, to be able to be used as an example because of my mistakes and sins, you know? So, on the contrary to that phrase from that song that said, I fight to live a private life for my family's health. No, Evan Strong, I'm going to fight to live a public life for the glory of God. Regardless of how wrong I get, how many mistakes I make, how many disgusting sins I do. It's like the phrase, right, that I say so often up until today's date, past In the Image Clothing Company content. Condemn me for it. Condemn me for what I have said. And condemn me for what I have done. Because I'm not going to be able to take it back. You're not going to change it. So just sit there and judge if you want. And sit with that guilt. Because you don't want to own up to your own stuff. Try to hide it and hide it and hide it and live your life in fear. Like my dad. Like a lot of people on the earth. I'm going to make things public because they already are. To God. The only one that matters. You don't have to believe in something. It's the truth. I don't believe. But I know God. I look up like this because now I'm in a different room for this episode than I've been filming a lot of the past In the Image Clothing Company podcast episodes in up until today's date. And there's a photograph of Christ, Jesus the Christ, our God himself, directly where I'm looking right now. And I couldn't do any of this. I know so much about this. And I couldn't really quite tell you how. I can tell you, like, story-wise, I can explain what has happened in order to get me to where I am now. But right? So the poodles, dude. It's not just that I'm going to have some pet that I think that others might think is cute, so I'll put it in some content for something. I mean, just wait and see. Don't take my words as something, because that's like believing me, right? Just wait and see. If it lines up, it lines up. I mean, holy cow. It's as real as it gets, dude, so. Alright. I've got no promises as to anything. I've said some things are going to happen the ways that they are, but I mean, I don't know how. I'm not hoping for it. I'm just being obedient, and sometimes not so well. Okay? So thank you. Nita. I've said it. Nita. My first dog. She'll be a female standard poodle. Registered, purebred, beautiful, the matriarch of our whole breeding program. Alright? I don't care to just talk to talk. I'm not trying to get anybody's hopes up. I don't have mine up. I don't have any at all. And that's as real as I can make it. Okay? Man, I kind of shredded that guitar. I mean, it's not uncommon for me, as long as, like I was saying earlier, you know, the conditions of things that make it so I'm able to play guitar well. But this isn't that. I mean, this is not what I play. And so, again, it's just purposeful. It's intentional, right? Meaning God does it, not me. Sometimes I might be trying to take credit for things, you know, and I'm just as human as everybody else, dude. That's what I mean. Some people tend to idolize people who really know stuff well. It's great to know things well, and I know what we do here under all four sides of In The Image Clothing Company well. But don't care about it for my sake. Don't idolize me. Don't think that it's about me. Please. So, I'm just here, dude. I'm just here. I've said I'm going to be a professional guitarist. It's not a hope. It's not some big dream I have. But I've said it. Condemn me for it. Alright. Collars and leashes available for dogs when they are under In The Image Clothing Company. Clothing available for human beings when it is under In The Image Clothing Company. Do all you can to get it in your size. Otherwise, you're going to damage your body. So, yeah. It's about the fruits of the labor, man. You don't have to even think that anything here could matter, but just look at it as it is and see what it is. Does it work? Then do it. If it doesn't, then don't. Simple as that. Truth. So, thank you. 28th of April, 2025. No, 29th of April, 2025. It's a Tuesday. My name is Evan Strong. This is episode 114 of In The Image Clothing Company podcast, titled In The Image Clothing Company and Evan Strong are one. That's just going to be how it's going to be for the life of Evan Strong on this earth. So thank you.